Welcome to Dave's Dimension, the channel where chaos and insanity will always reign supreme. We are the Dimension.
Hey guys, it's Dave's Dimension again. Now, been doing a couple videos talking about bikes. Now, I'm going to be getting a new bike, but I want to go over a few things about my soon-to-be former bike. Now, please excuse the mess. Now, I have my bike indoors right now because the outside of my apartment building is actually being worked on, so brought everything from the outside in. Now, this is a Townie 7D in person, in the flesh. It's a very nice bike. Yes, I went for black on black, except for the wheels. Now, it is a 7-speed. Just a very simplistic 7-speed gear change. Right there. Very simple. Your basic brakes. It's technically a V-clamp brake, but some people call these rim brakes. You know, the basic pads right there that squeeze right on the rim. And obviously, you get some wear and tear, some rubbing, thanks to the tires, or thanks to the brake pad itself. Again, this is an Electra, not electric, but Electra Townie 7D. Now, one of the big things about this bike that is so, well, in its simplistic awesomeness, and I do mean that, if you notice, usually on a bike you have your wheels, or your pedals that is, are going to be right here. It's pushed out forward. Why? So you can sit upright on the bike. Usually when you're on a bike, you're kind of hunched over, right? Not with this. With this, between how the handlebars are angled and curved, and to how the seat is back, it keeps you in a upright position at any given time. Okay? You're never hunched over, and that's one of the good things about it. Literally, you could sit on the bike, put your feet on the ground at a standstill. You know how most bikes you kind of have to hop off? You don't have to do that. Now, some of the extras. I did have to get an aftermarket. This is a aftermarket rack for here. This did not come with the bike. However, if you notice, there are mounting holes. So it will support. You just have to get the right fitted rack for it. Now, let's take a look at my gear system. This is a 7-speed gear. However, these wheels are triple reinforced, and so is the gear system because of my weight. At the time, I was $495 when I got this. This is not the original rim. The tire and the rims double reinforced when I do it, so I actually wound up paying about $450 for the front and rear wheel and the gear. This cassette here, a little bit different. This is not stock. I had to get reinforced. Not quite sure what metal was used. It might have been in titanium. I'm not quite sure. But the thing is strong and powerful, so it could support 500, maybe even 550. Thankfully, I never reached that far. Right now, I'm 350. Now, this has been a good bike. Definitely, if you want a relaxed kind of a ride, you're not a racer, you're not really going for tons of speed, maybe you do 10 or 15 mile cruises, this is a perfect bike for that, guys. And that's little River. She has to get into the video. Don't you, River? So, that's my Townie. Now, the Townie was actually purchased by Trek. And I'm sure you probably have heard of Trek bicycles. Now, I've had this bike for about 5 or 6 years. It's been a long 5 or 6 years. But I'm much healthier, and I want to take that next level. Now, if you notice, on the back of the rack, usually you have a reflector. Mine broke off. But that's not a problem because I like using these LED lights. Amazon and just about everyone else sells these little cheap LED lights. They come right off. Opens up a little USB, charge it up, and your light's good to go. Now, what's awesome about these lights, there's different functions, but guess what? I charged this back in like late October, early November. It's just been sitting, unused, still has full power. Different settings. That's awesome, isn't it? And this was the stock seat that came with it. It was a wider seat. And I actually went with some chunky, big boy pedals when I got this bike. All metal. I'm not going for plastic because I've had plastic pedals that have broken on me before. With my big ham hock feet, I was a size 16 wide at the time. I'm actually a 14 now. So as I went down in my weight, I went down in shoe size, but you still want something that's heavy duty. Reflector on both sides. I've seen some of the new ones, some new pedals where they only have one reflector on one side, which is odd, but again, Townie 7D. I mean, for a almost 6-year-old bike, it's a pretty good bike. And yes, I do have, look at the height difference I have from the frame to the seat, and it's fully adjustable. Now, I probably have maybe another this much in here, maybe about that much to play with. So if I was a taller person, maybe even 6'3", 6'4", I could probably still get away with it. But you got a press the valve tire stem on both the front and the back. And like I said, for 6 years, almost 6 years, I mean, look at that. It's pretty damn clean. My chain doesn't have a single bit of rust on it. Now, obviously, the bike itself has a few scrapes and scratches, but hey, what bike isn't going to have that? But these are the original tires. Well, not the original tires, but when I bought the bike, I've ridden these tires pretty heavily, and they're not really balding. I mean, this flatter tire, the smoother tire pattern is going to allow for a smoother ride. And like I said, this is an amazing bike. So if you're a heavyset person, I'm not saying necessarily go for Electra, but the cruiser style it's a relaxed fit. It used to be years ago, we used to have to worry about, these cruiser style bikes, we used to call them buses way back in the day because they had the fenders. We would make fun of them. But honestly, these are an awesome way to go, guys. You cannot go wrong with these bikes. If not going with Townie, go with a cruiser style. Something that's going to be relaxed. Something, one, you have to think about your comfort for one. Comfort on the bike. Ease. Don't worry about the pedaling, guys. You don't even have to go for a 7-speed. You can go, your standard single speed. It depends on what you guys want. Now, every year I get my bike tuned up. Whether it's I take it into a bike shop and say, hey, can you just check my brakes, check my gears real quick? They do. They'll let me know if I need anything fixed. If it does, then I go for it. You definitely want your brakes to be maintained at all times, guys, especially with the heavier weight on us. I mean, if you're a heavier person, obviously you need a little bit more stopping power, right? That's one thing to consider. But I went for a rack, so if I go to the store, I can take a little small bungee cord, tie something onto the back here, okay? If you notice, this is a different style bottle holder, okay? This actually works on a dial, so I can twist it down to hold my bottle in there so it won't pop out when I'm riding. Loosen it so when I take it out. I got this on Amazon, pretty inexpensive, okay? Now, I showed you guys my wife's former bike, or at least I mentioned about it. We actually just sold it today. So she's about to put her down payment on her new bike, and that's going to be very interesting. And I am going to do a video showcasing her bike. She's going to be getting another Townie style, but some big differences. One, say goodbye to these style brakes. A lot of the newer bikes are switching over to disc brakes. Some of them are just a standard disc brake, and some are a hydraulic disc brake. Pretty interesting. But I am potentially going to be getting rid of this bike in the next day or so. So I want to do a very quick recap. Now, for a 6-year-old bike, she's in pretty damn good condition, don't you think? And I was riding every day or every other day, weather permitting, that is. I rode this. I did a 20-mile ride on this bike for the Ride for Roswell. I mean, I still have the original sticker still on this bike. You cannot ask for a better bike. Now, price tag on this style bike, you're looking at right now probably between $600 and $700, maybe even up to $800 after taxes. But it is a solid bike. This is the kind of bike that will hold up 350 pounds stock. So if you're north of that, you want to look into a higher gear set, stronger gear set, I should say. Reinforced tires, and that's definitely the way to go. Go through your local bike shop, guys. Okay, go through your local bike shop. Try hitting up as many bike shops as you can. Get as much information as you guys possibly can. That's the way to go, I'm telling you. Because I'm someone who's gone down this road, guys. It's not easy being a big person. It never is. But that's why I'm doing this video, guys. I'm still a big guy. I'm always going to be a big guy. I'm 6 foot. So even if I lost another 50, 60, 70 pounds, I'm still going to be a big person. As for my height, I should be like at 220, 230, maybe at most. And that's still considered obese. So I just wanted to share a little bit of what's going on in my life with you guys. So if you have any questions, thoughts, comments, concerns, you guys know who to call. Dave's Dimension. So until next time, this is Dave from Dave's Dimension saying keep on busting, and I will always catch you on the flip side.